What's going on, everybody? Hello, this is Fiercestbard. And Juice, it is a wild bard. Mooney, I choose you. Use charm. It was super effective. It really was. I will say, it really was. How are you guys doing? Hopefully, you guys are doing okay. I am on the struggle bus right now with this pose. I'm trying to do an action pose for Neon. But I've already spotted like quite a number of problems with this, right? It's like there's a lot of things going on in my mind right now, but really, if Neon's body is basically over here, right? Like, let's say she's doing an action pose like this, right? Yeah, right? So it means that her head is over here, basically. Just going through the logic of this before I start, right? Like, let's say she's like, doing a Superman pose. Like, her head is like over here on the left side over here, right? But this image that I'm drawing here indicates more of a, like, she's leaning back and her legs are out like this way, which is not what I want, because her head is back here and stuff like that. So she's not all that actiony. So I'm trying to struggle bust through this today. This is what we're gonna do today. This is the thing that we have to do. But actually, you know what's interesting? And this is going with stuff that I had been doing previously, but I need to do an update. I guess I should probably repost this artwork because hey, remember that time that I drew an image of Cecilia Immergreen? Well, the original version looked a little bit different. This is the original version, where her chin was a little bit longer and a little bit more pointed, as that was kind of the style that I was trying here, right? But I realized that I didn't want, because, like, when you flip it and then you, like, look at it from different angles and stuff like that, some angles it looked okay, but other angles it didn't. So I decided to there we go. I decided to change it a little bit. So I kind of rounded it off a little bit more gently than previously, and then I painted over the part here where you could see underneath the original, and then I just kind of went over it and painted over it and created this version of it. So she has like a softer chin here, as opposed to the sharper chin that I gave her previously. And yeah, like it made a huge difference in the way that this image came out. I think it's a little bit better currently like this. And the reason I did this was because I needed to print copies of this as posters and stuff like that, right? Because surprise, surprise, we're gonna be tabling at Anime North. Surprisingly, tabling at an anime con next week. So I decided to do what I did last time with Marin, Hosho Marin, the image that I did of that one, where I changed the face a little bit to suit better the style as I evolve, right? So, even with this one, I feel like I've changed the way that I draw a little bit in recent times. So I wanted to, like, make small changes to it to better reflect that, right? And yeah, so this one is also this one is not one that I've done yet, but we're getting there. And then just to further update everybody, just in case you missed it yesterday, we did complete the line art for this one of Anis, right? I've passed over this file over to Mooney so that she can start adding some color to it. So she's doing that, and yeah, I think this one was a lot of fun to do initially. So can't wait to see what Mooney comes up with in terms of the styling, in terms of the coloring, and then when she passes this one back to me, I will finish the colors and the details on it. So that's gonna be kind of cool. So yeah, we have like a pretty loaded week of arting stuff that I have to do, and then on top of that with this one, I'm gonna spend my time working on this one. I'm not gonna rush it because it doesn't need to be rushed at this point, because as you guys heard, I'm gonna be at Anime North next week, so I'm not gonna be streaming next week. I always seem to have these breaks. But that's okay, it comes with the territory. We just do what we can, and then when I come back from Anime North, maybe I will be arting some more. I'll be able to dedicate more time. But I've been trying to get through drawing some Nikkeis as of late, so I'm gonna continue to do that. Let me just leave this up. Let me leave that up, and let me duplicate that, leaving this layer up, but then moving this over, because I've realized that I need to change this image by quite a bit. So let me go and check out, let me look. I didn't have some time to look up some references for this because I was really busy at work and at printing. Actually, I've been putting my printer through it. My printer is going through it right now. It is getting absolutely slammed with print requests and stuff like that right now. So which is good. It's not like that's a bad thing, right? The whole reason we even bought the printer was so that we can do this. So I'm happy I'm getting a lot of use out of my printer currently. So let's see. We're just going a different direction with this than what we originally thought we were gonna do. Okay. And then Neon's kind of it's kind of interesting because Neon is rather slender. She's not like a lot of the other members of what is this called, counters. That's what they were called. Jeez, how did I forget that? No, she's not like a lot of the Rappy or Honest and stuff like that, right? So I have to change my mindset, I guess, as it were, of how I'm approaching the sketch here for her, Okay. Okay. But yeah, I'm hoping that you guys are all having a great what is it today, actually? Holy crap. I thought it was Wednesday, but it's Thursday. Oh wow, it's already Thursday. So yeah, that's just how busy I've been. I've actually I actually lost a day. I actually freaking lost a day. Unbeknownst to me. But yeah, the reason that I mentioned the fact that, you know, like, Neon's much more slender of a character is because you have to be careful with, okay, it's pretty easy to draw, like, I'm not gonna say it's that easy, but for me, you know, I'm used to drawing characters that are more, curvy, right? So then when you get approached with, drawing characters who are much more slender, like, you know, Neon is, it becomes like somewhat of a challenge because now you've got to rewire your brain a little bit, right? Like you're not doing the things that normally um happen with more curvy characters, right? Like you know, her chest, for example, is not going to have the I guess pronouncement of where it is, like those a more curvy character would normally have. um Same thing with her hips, actually, though I'm giving it a little bit, like, I'm this is more artistic license, I guess, with her hips. Because actually, on some of her artwork, you kind of see that she's like a little bit more hip than usual, like, I would say. Though I have to be careful with how I do the thigh, right? Because even though her hip is out a little bit more, you know, I'm not gonna give her the thighs that, like, you know, like Ryza, the thighs that save lives. Okay. The thighs that save lives. And then okay. And then I might need to move her this entire part of her hips a little bit over, just a little bit more. So this is kind of like a superhero style flight pose type of thing. Though she's just kind of like jumping towards the camera. Then her belly button is somewhere down here, a little bit lower. Okay. 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 Let's see. So we got so far. Oh, yeah. That's right. Let's just to kind of fit in her leg there a little bit, and then okay. Hopefully the audio and the music, by the way, is running fine. I know that I used to have a playlist of things that I listen to. I can no longer do that because I'm multi-streaming, so you know, feel free to play whatever the heck you want to entertain yourself, so, you know? Let's see, how are we gonna position the hands? So I feel like with her arms, now I've been doing a lot of like I've been trying anyway to do a lot of the arms where the arms are like super foreshortened, like they're reaching for the viewer and stuff like that. Like I've been doing a lot of that lately, right? Like normally I'd be like something like this, right? Where the arm and then the hand is like gigantic. And it's like it makes pretty interesting images when you do stuff like that, right? But for this one, I think I'm gonna, I don't know, like, so originally I was thinking to myself, like, maybe with her hand, um try something like, hold on, let me see if I could get the right oh, whoops, that is definitely not, let me just go. Okay, maybe that's a little bit too light, so you can barely see what's going on here, but I was thinking about having her have one of her arms just kind of here holding onto her glasses, right? Like in that manner of like adjusting it. Maybe all this is a little bit too close up. And maybe it should be a little bit further out, actually. And then, Let's see, what is her other arm doing? What is her other arm doing? Is she gonna be like a Chuni character? doing Kamen Rider pose? Or maybe this arm is like holding onto the... Oh, but if I have the weapon over here in front, it's just gonna cover everything. Unfortunately. That's the problem, right? Like... Okay, let's just put that there for the arm. And let me start actually blocking in, like, what would be, considered, like, you know, there. Skirt. If I don't start blocking in the skirt soon, Twitch-kun's gonna have some, words with me. And we wouldn't want that, would we? Let's see, I could always have her doing a... Okay, well, maybe this is a little bit too thick in terms of, because for some reason, ever since, ever since, 2003 or whatever, everybody seems to like pointing poses. Actually, it looks... Okay, maybe I shouldn't do the pointing pose with her, because I almost feel like she's doing the freaking Professor X, like she's got like mental powers or something like that, which isn't actually, you know, like outside of the realm of what she kind of is. I mean, she is silly like that, so she would probably be the first one to think that the glasses do give her mental powers. Or actually, you know what? Maybe the key is the fact that... So, thought train. I changed this so that the other arm is the one that's, holding her glasses, right? And then we get rid of this. Right? The reason I'm thinking this is because then this arm naturally just goes into the weapon, right? We just have this arm holding the big gun thing, and then this gun thing is actually in the background then, right? Like it's not in the way of the rest of this. So maybe this is the way to do it? I don't know. Like... And yeah, sometimes arting is a struggle, you know. It's like this is what you got to do. You got to keep trying things until you run into something you like, and you know, hopefully it the thing that you like is you know, works, right? Okay, this would be the visor of where the hat is, right? And then this is the top. And then the back of it would be sticking out just a little bit. And then I feel like this whole thing should be bigger. Because the focus of this image should be neon completely. And then I'm rotating it a little bit because I'm trying to frame it in here a little bit better. And then behind her would be like a huge explosion. I think I can work with this. I think I can work with this. Now to actually I know this is like the sixth or seventh time I'm going over this again, but this is just how I work. I'm sorry, guys. This is literally just like how I have to do things in order to get them like looking the way that I want to. And for once, what we're gonna do is actually like build up the image so that I've got a nice looking sketch. This is like the one time I gotta do it like this, so I know this is like silly as all heck, I know. But you know, ultimately at the end of this process, we should have a very nice sketch to work off of, right? I don't normally have nice sketches. I normally have you know, my freaking affronts to humanity at the end of these things. But no, for Neon, I'm gonna double down. I'm gonna double down and try to get this right. Because like I know everybody likes all the other characters on counters. They like Rappy and they like Honest, and I understand. I completely understand. You know, like it's not like I dislike them myself, right? But I feel like Neon is the forgotten sister. She's the forgotten one of the pack, and I just want I want her to I want her to get a little bit of the shine, okay? Because sometimes even Neon deserves a little bit. I actually admittedly have not gotten to her backstory yet. Mooney has been telling me that it's a pretty tragic one, but whose isn't? Whose backstory isn't in the UK, right? I'm just going by the reference that I'm looking at. She's got an earring over here, but I don't know if it's even worth really detailing out. So we'll see. I'll do it anyway, just in case. Because like I feel like it's just gonna get covered by the hand over there, but you know, you never know, right? Like okay. And then she's got like this she's always got to have the smile that's like, okay, what's going on? What's going on in your brain? I mean, like even for me, like admittedly, like who is my favorite counters member? Well, unfortunately, if you guys played more than 5 minutes of the beginning of the story, well, there goes my first that there goes my favorite counters member. But hey, you know, like at least later on in the storyline, you know, if you know, you know. But it's just like one of those things that's like, of course, of course. You know, but at least it perfectly sets up the tone of this game, you know. And then, you know, like it is a little silly too because like again, once I finish this sketch, right? It's like I'm gonna have to do the line art for this, and the line art is probably gonna overtake this sketch, right? Like I'm not gonna be using the sketch for much of anything. But you know, sometimes it's nice. Sometimes it's nice to have a fully fleshed out sketch that actually looks okay. Again, I don't normally do this, but you know. And then what sucks is when you do the line art for some of these, right? Sometimes you just kind of lose something, because you're operating at a level where you're much looser in terms of how you're approaching the sketch, right? But then when you do the line art, like that all tightens up because you're your focus is on getting the line art like right, whatever that means, right? So you kind of lose some of the energy that you had with when you did the sketch, and it's a struggle that everybody goes through when they do the arting. I know for me, for sure. Like I feel like even right now, I'm starting to lose some of that. Even with the eye here too, I think hold on. Let me just do something. I don't normally do this when I'm not working with vector lines, but let me just, this is gonna make it blurry as heck, but yeah, let me try to. I'm just trying to make sure all of this actually lines up. So because the way that I'm drawing her eyes, she doesn't really have like the doughy-eyed like kind eyes here. She actually should have a much more aggressive like look here. Kind of part of her excitement at having this firepower, right? Like, so I wanna make sure that I'm getting that right. Though this also means that I might have made her eyes, her eye on this side a little bit too wide. But yeah, like this year, I think things are starting to line up in terms of my Artist Alley participation. I have two now, which is Anime North next week, and then later this year we're gonna be trying out a first time con on key. Now I know a lot of people would say that, hey Bard, like you shouldn't try out these first time ones because you don't know how they are, right? Like, so like you're taking a risk, right? But actually for me it's less about right now. My participation in artist alleys is less about profit, right? Like I know a lot of people attend these because they need to, right? Because you got to make up the cost of everything that you put into it, right? Like in terms of like production and all that other stuff, right? Like production, how much you spent on the table, your travel fees and things like that, right? So that's a lot of the focus for many people who do artist alley tables, right? But for me, it's a little bit different because I'm just getting started, right? Like when it comes to artist alley stuff, right? Like despite the fact that I've been drawing for so long in my life, I'm only just now getting into the habit of going to these events and stuff like that. So for me, my focus is more on going to as many of these events as I can to not just get them into my portfolio of, hey, I've been doing artist alleys, but rather also to do homework at these events and see, okay, what is the thing that I should be doing more of, right? Eagle Munch, what's up? How you doing? Hope things are going well for you. Welcome in. You're here for the Dark Souls run of trying to do a sketch of Neon here, Vision Eye Neon. This is not going well right now for me, but I think I'm getting somewhere with this. Doing good? Nice, nice, you know? It's always good to hear that you guys are in fact doing well, I will say. You know, like, and I've just been talking about recent events for myself, you know, and where I'm gonna be in terms of the next a few weeks, I should say, you know. I believe in you. Oh, you do? Do you? It's nice to hear when people believe in you, because and Mooney will tell you guys this, like, straight up. I have very little faith in myself. Like, not faith, but rather belief in myself. Like, it took me a long time to believe that I could even do the arting thing, right? Like, and I think this is a struggle that many artists, young and old, go through, right? Like, just having that belief in yourself that what you're doing, you can be better at, and on top of that, not just be better at it, but actually do the thing as a living and stuff like that. Now, granted, I'm not doing art full time as my living. Like, it's not paying my bills or anything like that, right? I'm not at that point in my life. And, like, because I'm a little bit older than you guys all are, I've got to focus my attention on other things, right? Like my day job and stuff like that, right? So, like, I'm not quite there, but I feel like, it's okay because I'm making progress, and that's what's important at the end of the day, because if you have something to work towards and you have something to look forward to, that can make everything worth it for you. But yeah, that's just me being philosophical about stuff right now, because I'm like trying to like think of how I'm approaching this one right now, and the more I talk to you guys, the better it is for me, because I'm not focusing entirely on the image too hard, so it allows me to work a little bit looser, like I was mentioning earlier. Like, it just allows me to be like, okay, I don't need to be so focused that I'm just like losing track of what I'm doing here. So, and I'm putting in little details of stuff that I would normally do later. Agreed. I started painting 4 years ago, but I can see a vast improvement. But my 8 to 5 pays money. Yeah, that is the ultimate struggle. And like, why? I know that there's, like, for example, there's a lot of discourse on social media platforms about the role of AI in society, and the role of AI in art in particular, right? I personally don't believe that AI is actual art. I actually think of AI as more of a tool to get you connected to someone to produce the art for you, but without any permissions. That's like literally how I think of AI art. I'm not gonna sit here and rage about it or anything like that, right? Like, like, it's like a lot of what people like to say about it is, oh, it's gonna happen anyway, so why fight the future and stuff like that. And I don't think that people understand, like, it's like the whole thing with these AI data centers. I read like a story about like how there's like an AI data center setup that's happening in, like, what is it, Nevada, right? Where the power company there is now giving up on delivering power to the actual people that live in that area, and they have to find a new provider of power and stuff like that, right? Because it just makes more sense for the power company to profit off of the data center than to provide power for these people. They don't really make all that much money on that, so they're choosing to abandon all these people and their needs for for grabbing that bag. Now, I will never complain about people doing what they can to make a life for themselves, and doing what you can to earn money, right? Like, I mean, we all do it, right? But my thing is, it's so short-sighted, because, like, okay, the idea is that I can make more money selling this power to this AI data center, right? So go for that now. Go for the short-term profit of doing that now, and forget about all these people and what they need and stuff like that, right? But these people are potentially the customers for the AI crap that you're trying to sell, right? Like it's like, how are they even gonna access the AI crap that you want to sell if they don't have the power to power their computers, or they can't afford it because now they gotta pay more to access that power, because they gotta go with a delivery provider or something like that's like out of the like range of costs for these people, right? So it's like, it's just one of those things where it's like, it feels like this nonstop thing with AI and the pursuit of the money where that comes with it, right? Is so like, it is so all encompassing with stuff, right? That like people are like, that the people who are profiting from this stuff are just forgetting about the situation of like replacing workers, for example, with AI peeps, right? And it's like, okay, you replaced all your workers with AI that does the job for you, right? But those people were potentially people that would have paid into buying the service or the product that you're producing at your company. So who's gonna eventually be the ones to buy from your company, right? Like, that's a real question. That's an actual real question that nobody has an answer for, because they're all kind of crazy about this like AI thing. And I'm like, like, it's not just like artists griping about their place in society now that we have this technology and stuff like that, but it's more like, hey, how are you putting all these people out of work, and what are you going to replace that with? Because eventually you need people to buy your shit. So like, how are they going to buy your shit if they can't even afford to feed themselves or pay their rent and stuff like that? Like, what is the end game here? Like, but I guess it doesn't matter to these people, right? Like, I guess that's like a thing that doesn't really matter to them. I know. I said that I wasn't gonna like rant about it, but here I am, kind of ranting, but kind of sort of raging about it. But like, it's a real question, right? Oh, thanks for the reminder to hydrate. Hold on, I'll get my bottle. I don't have the real sparkling ice. I have the Kirkland signature brand of sparkling ice, because that's just where everything is going now. We all gotta buy like these off-brand stuff, because that's all we can afford, But yeah, sorry, I don't mean to be preachy on stream or anything like that. I'm just saying, like, this is the stuff that nobody's thinking about when it comes to all the AI stuff, right? It's not about me being upset, oh my god, I'm an artist, so I'm gonna lose my place in the world, because, like, quite frankly, it's okay, I'm raging too, But for me, like here's where I fall in terms of AI art stuff and junk like that. And it's not that, and like immediately when that stuff first started happening, I did mess around with some of it, right? Because I needed to know how it works and stuff like that. I even made some people like a little bit upset with me because unfortunately, like, I didn't realize how big. Okay, I'm not perpetually on Twitter. I'm not perpetually on social media at all. You guys might not know this, but I'm horrible when it comes to social media shit, right? Like, you can see from my Twitter, like, I barely have anybody following me, and I don't know how to engage with social media in a way that makes it so that, oh, like, my following will grow, right? But I was messing around with the AI stuff like early on in its life because I was trying to figure out, like, okay, like, how does this stuff actually work? Like, what does it do and stuff like that, right? So, like, and I came to the conclusion very quickly that I now have two eagles. You're right, Lightning Eagle. I now have two eagles here. And the more eagles that show up, the more that I feel in danger because y'all eagles are birds of prey, and I am but a small cappy. And, like, likely to be small enough to be carried off by a raptor of some sort, right? Because, like, I like dinosaurs, and I know for a fact that y'all are actually dinosaurs. Y'all are actually like dinosaurs and stuff like that. You'll probably carry me off and feast on my cappy barness, at some point, But yeah, what's up, Eagle? How you doing? I'm gonna leave you on top of a large water tower. Yeah. Like, you're gonna be like, damn, I don't want to carry this pudgy rodent of extraordinary size, so I'm just gonna leave you here. And you're gonna have to figure out a way to get off of this water tower on your own. See ya, bye. No, I was just talking about the, like, the whole AI thing and stuff like that, right? And I was like, I'm just saying, like, after kind of messing around with it and being like, okay, this is stupid, right? I came to the very quick realization that it's like, okay, I would never use this because I like actually drawing. I know it's like really silly to say that, but I think there's a difference between people who do art and kind of gave up on art because they weren't seeing progress in their final, their output, right? Like, if you're in it because you want to have the prettiest of pictures, right? And your goal is like, oh, I want to, when I'm done with drawing, I've got like the best looking thing ever and stuff like that, right? I can see why, you would give up on art easily, but for me, it's the whole process of actually creating the image that that I enjoy, and because of that, I don't think I would ever give up on just doing art, So it, like, like, technically speaking, the AI art thing doesn't really affect what I'm doing, because I don't really care if it does replace real artists or whatever, because, like, okay, if it does replace all the artists, what does that matter to me? Because I still like drawing, so why would I stop, right? Like, making more pages of my manga, working on some future character designs, need to make some pinups, but a little burnt out, and will practice my rival's aim. What about you? You're doing a whole lot more than me. No, I'm actually so I think I don't know if you heard, but I am tabling at Anime North suddenly. This is a very sudden thing that happened. I don't know, like, how it happened, but like, well, I do know behind the scenes. I do know what happened. It's not like I'm like, oh, what's going on? Like, no. I'm basically volunteering my time because Mooney is also volunteering her time to help out at Anime North for at the Fleet booth. So in exchange for our help you know, at the booth, right, we were offered the opportunity to set up our table at the, not in the artist alley, but at the industry booth, I guess, right? So it was like hilariously enough, we are not gonna be in the artist alley, but we're gonna be outside of the artist alley, which is like, okay, sure, you know, and then we're gonna be sharing some space with the fleet. So, you know, like, kind of interesting the setup is gonna be, but you know, we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. You know, like, maybe it'll be a good thing, maybe not. Maybe nobody gives a crap about like fan art stuff when you're not in the artist alley itself, right? Like, who knows? So I've been restocking stuff. I've been working on printing and restocking items and stuff like that. Oh, that's good. Yeah, yeah. I was actually able to purchase the Epson ET 8550 because I saw how much money that we spent last time when we first did the our first run of prints and art stuff, right? And I happened to have like the funds for it at the time, so I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna go ahead and buy this printer because, like, if we're gonna spend that much every time we have to do a new run of images and stuff like that for Artist Alley, then I'd rather just do those prints myself and save that money for other things like acrylics and keychains and things like that. Instead of spending money on prints, I can, you know, like, do a one-time expensive purchase and then leave the other stuff for, you know, like the suppliers to do and stuff like that. And, you know, like, again, that takes off a cost in the long run of me having to put out money to get prints done and stuff like that. So, you know, I kind of did the math in my head. It made sense, and I was like, okay, you know, let me do this. So yeah, I've been but to like, to get my portfolio of events up, basically. So, like, when you apply to a lot of like Artist Alley, and you know this, Eagle, you know, you're applying to some of them too, right? Like, a lot of it is like proving that you have done Artist Alleys before and also can fill a table, right? Like, so I'm trying to use these more this year as like portfolio fillers and stuff like that for myself and Mooney, right? Like, we're trying to be to treat these as more opportunities to prove that we are able to do the Artist Alley thing, as opposed to being like profitable ventures. Though, you know, if we do happen to make a profit there, though, to help with travel expenses, I mean, you know, that's more than welcomed, right? But yeah, that's also one of the reasons too why we are doing the artist booth. Or it's not really an artist alley, but it's more like an artist booth at Anime North, because they offered us the opportunity to do so because it would help us to cover some of our travel expenses and stuff like that, because we are volunteering you know, to help out with the fleet, right? So it's like, it's one of those things where it's like, oh, you know, like, they're offering this as a way to hopefully help us out, and, you know, in the meantime we are helping them out. So it's like, you know, it's like a win-win situation for everyone, you know, because as it turns out, there's not too many people on the East Coast that that are able to support V Fleet. So, you know, like, we're very fortunate that we're here. So, you know, it's like, that's kind of some of the behind the scenes reasons why we will be doing this. I'm kind of excited for it, you know. And more so as a travel thing for myself, because I've never been to Toronto Ontario in Canada, right? So like, despite the fact that, Cappy Town is not actually that far away from Toronto, I've never actually been to Toronto before and stuff like that, right? So it's like also it gives me an opportunity to travel, a little bit and stuff like that. And check out someplace new that I've never been before and stuff like that. But like it's all good. I think what's cool is too that after this particular event, um what else do we have lined up? At the end of the year we have Anki Expo. I was confirmed for that. Um that's a first year event. Um Up in where is it? In near Boston, Massachusetts. It's like not specifically in Boston itself, but like nearby to Boston, right? So like I is it like Danvers? I think that's where the actual location is for Anki and stuff like that. That's where oh shoot, what the hell? Okay. I just almost did something really bad. But yeah, like, so that's gonna be kind of cool because it's supposedly the East Coast's first, VTuber convention. So that's something new, okay? And on top of that, like, again, it's not gonna be the biggest convention because it's the first time that it's happening. You hope, but it's obviously like a lot of times with first time events, like it takes a while for them to build up the attendance and stuff like that, right? So I'm not expecting it to be the biggest convention, but hopefully it turns out to be a good one, and like and the experience will be kind of fun. The only time that I've actually been in Boston, by the way, the last time I went was I was just attending. I was not doing any vending and stuff like that. This was before my art journey era and stuff like that. I went with some friends. It was a fun trip, but man, there were certain things that really disappointed us. Like we went I think we went to the area that was near where they have PAX, that convention center, right? And they had like a bar that claimed to be the bar from that show Cheers and stuff like that. And it was not that I was like a huge fan of that show. I mean, it's so freaking old, that show, right? But it was like, oh shoot, this is like a tourist thing. Like we finally like let's go and check it out because it's supposedly a thing from TV or something, right? And then as it turns out, we discovered, oh, it's not actually related to this show at all. They just kind of claim it is, but they're not really a part of it at all. And it's like, how did they, what? Like, are they allowed to do that? Like, what the hell? That'd be like a firehouse, for example, just anywhere in New York, right? Claiming, hey, we're the firehouse from Ghostbusters, and it's like, no, you're not. You're not actually the firehouse from Ghostbusters. There was like a very specific firehouse in Manhattan that is the firehouse for Ghostbusters, but like you can't just go and claim things like this. I don't know. I thought it was kind of funny though. Like, regardless of the fact that they were not actually the bar from that show that I never watched anyway. I just remember that show being like a very old show, and I know that a lot of people liked it and very much enjoyed it, and they had a spin-off of that show that Frasier, I think it was. Yeah, it was about that psychologist guy. And that's all I know about this show. Let's see, something like that. Nope. I like Frasier a lot. Oh, you actually watched it? Oh, I did not. I did not when like I was just too dumb for shows like that when I was growing up, man. Like I was still watching cartoons well into well, that's nothing to be like, you know, um like ashamed of or anything like that. But well into my my later teen years, I was still watching all sorts of cartoons and crazy stuff like that. I didn't pay attention to a lot of the sitcoms and things like that. My friends were all watching stuff like Friends and stuff like that, and I just never did. I was just like, oh, they would put it on from time to time, but I would not. It's not disinterest. It's just like, oh, I don't know what this is. I was just too into my nerd stuff, unfortunately, for my friends. Cheers is good too. Oh yeah, Eagle Munch. Did you watch Cheers? My mother, father, cousin watched Frasier when I was younger. Made me more interested in the mind. My favorite cartoon was Ed, Ed, and Eddie. Oh, nice. Around that time, I didn't see too many of those cartoons, like especially the stuff that was like Nicktoons and things like that, right? Like, um, Mooney is always surprised at the things that I've never seen. She actually is like the one that shows me a lot of the stuff. Like right now we're watching Gravity Falls. Though she had seen it already, I believe, but I've never seen Gravity Falls when it was originally running, and it was because by then I was a little bit too old for that one, right? Like I was already like not the fact that I was too old to watch it, and I'm not the not like that it wasn't me as the target audience or anything like that, but it's like by then I was like already kind of like looking for work and things like that, and it was just like not available to actually watch it, unfortunately. um Cartoon Network was 10 out of 10. I mean, it was like there was a time when Cartoon Network was like everything, right? Like they were some of the first ones to actually do anime in America and stuff like that, at least in the United States, right? Like I know there were people showing, like there were networks trying to show stuff, right? Like Dragon Ball was on TV well before Cartoon Network and stuff like that, but they were the ones that like, they made the block for all that stuff, and they popularized a lot of anime that people watch and things like that, right? So, um they deserve a lot of credit for a lot of things. Gravity Falls is also great. It's thriller horror for younger people. Yeah, it is. It's like I was so surprised at how much I liked it. I'm currently on season 2, and I just saw the episode with the with Seuss's real girlfriend thing, or that's what the episode is called. Like I think it was like Seuss and Real Women or something like that. And that so far is my favorite episode. Love Seuss, yeah. But yeah, Lightning Eagle. I actually, when you mentioned like how, since you had relatives that watched that stuff, like Frasier when you were younger, so you were like interested. It's a lot like that with a lot of people. Like, what do you guys have like a show that like your family watched, or people that you knew watched that, and then you got into it because of that? You know what it was for me? And and Mooney has heard me talk about this for a while before, like, because it's like one of the earliest things that I remember is like when I was a little kid. I had like a group of babysitters, right, that would watch over me after school and stuff like that, and on the weekends sometimes, even when I was little. And like they were into a lot of different things, right? But primarily the two things that I don't think they realized how much influence they had over stuff that I watched, right? Because I got into Star Trek The Next Generation because of them. Accidentally, by the way. Two of them were college age, and they were watching it, like, and I ended up watching it with them because I had nothing to do, so I just kind of sat there and watched it, and, like, I guess they didn't notice that I was there watching it with them and stuff like that, but they ended up actually somehow getting me into it accidentally because I was just interested in what they were watching. Granted, those early episodes were really freaking horrible, but, you know, like, that was one thing that I got into because of them. And then another thing that I got into because of them was what was it? Tales from the Crypt. I don't know if you guys know this. It used to be an HBO show, I think, right? Like, this was in like this was back in the old days when they had a ton of shows like this, like Tales from the Dark Side and other, like, shows based on horror pulp comics and stuff like that. But Tales from the Crypt was one of the shows that, like, I ended up accidentally getting into too. I should not have even been watching it because of my age and stuff like that. Like, yeah, you know, obviously it's not meant for children, obviously, right? But yeah, that was something that I got really into because of them. I remember they were like, "Oh, there's gonna be an episode on, like, late at night." I was staying over at the time, right? My parents were away for work and stuff like that, and they just kind of left me there with my brother and stuff like that, and like they were like, "Oh, there's gonna be a show on tonight. It's gonna be really scary, but don't worry, we're here. We're here. Like, you don't have to watch it with us, but we want to watch it." And I was just like, "Okay, I'll watch it with you." And it turns out, oh man. Good stuff. The Crypt Keeper was like my bedtime storyteller. Oh, My Hero Academia because of my brother? Is that, oh yeah, you know? Like, I watched some of My Hero, but I didn't get that far into it. Like, I think I got in like 3 or 4 seasons in, and then I just kind of stopped because, like, I just started to lose, like, some interest in the story and where it was going. Like, it was this constant, like, if it wasn't a tournament arc or something like that, it was like, I don't know, like, this whole thing with the what was it? Like, they were doing they were fighting all the villains now or something like that. I don't know. I can't remember where I stopped off with it at this point. But, like, I just remember that Mount Lady was there. She was, like, helping out, and there was, like, and there was, like, they were in a forest or something like that, and some of the heroes were actually getting killed and stuff like that, and it was just like, oh wow, they're going somewhere with the storyline. They are really going somewhere with this right now, huh? Yeah, I know, my synopsis of what was going on with My Hero Academia is pretty lacking, isn't it? But yeah, like, you know, that's where I'm up to with that show. And again, you know, I don't ever want to say that it's like, oh, like, I'm getting, it's boring me and it's a bad show or no. It's not that. It's just, you know, I'm my interests have taken me elsewhere at this point. But yeah, like, Tales from the Crypt was like, it was something. It was like, it had, like, a lot of stories that were like, you know, like, it was definitely made just for the horror value of things, right? I think the first episode that I saw had to do with now spoilers for a show that's like, however, like, there are children that are just like you know, just now becoming adults for the show, okay? Like, that's how old it is. But, you know, like, I think the first episode that I saw had to do with like a doctor or something like that, right? And this doctor liked to play pranks on the people around him too much. So their friend, their I think it was their friend or brother or something like that, created like a drug or something like that, where you could preserve a person's biological functions in their brain even though their body had already passed and stuff like that, right? And they tried it out on the person as like, and they're like, oh, you know, like, you like playing jokes on us so much, right? Like, so they kind of used it on them and stuff like that. And the like the whole episode was like about all the crazy things that were happening to this person while they were under the effects of this drug. Like, they were trying to tell people that they're not gone, they're still here, but they couldn't because of the fact that, they had this drug in them and stuff like that. And it was like, it was really scary at the time, I remember. And then the twist at the end was like really crazy. I'm just gonna say it because, again, like, who's looking for spoilers for this? How am I supposed to, like, you're not gonna be like watching out for spoilers for a show this old, okay? Like, at this point, right? But yeah, like, at the end, it turns out that there was no such drug. They just paralyzed the brother, and it was all a big practical joke and stuff like that. Like, when they hung him on the meat hooks and stuff like that, like, they were doing this thing where they were trying to scare him because he kept pulling pranks on them, so they wanted to get him back with one that was that it was like the greatest joke ever, right? Like, and so they got him. He was laughing, but then he has a heart attack. And then they were like, "Oh no, no, no!" They scared him so much that he actually has a heart attack. And then, as it turns out, the serum that they gave him actually does in fact work the way that they thought it was. It was actually preserving his mind in that state. And then but they were like they thought he was gone already, and so they started the company there was starting an autopsy on him, and he was trying to scream at them like, I'm still here, but like he couldn't at that point. And it was like, oh man, that's kind of how it ends. Like, they showed like a thing where they cut open, like, or from his perspective, they're cutting open his head. And like, it just kind of ends right there, and then the Crypt Keeper is back and stuff. I just remember that so much because that was like one of the first ones that I ever saw of that show. And it was like, whoa, what the hell? So yeah, Little Bard saw a lot of really messed up shit, and I think my my babysitters. They did not give a heck. They did not give two shits about what I was watching with them, because they were also very much, they were also very much enjoying watching this stuff. So, but yeah, that's the kind of stuff that I got into, because I didn't get into too many shows and stuff like that were at least Western shows anyway that my parents were watching, because like I could not understand where they were getting all the Cappy stuff from, right? So like there was stuff that like were interested me in terms of Capybara TV, but I was in terms of Western TV shows and stuff like that, I didn't really get into too much from my parents in terms of that stuff, right? Though most of the stuff that I watched on TV, like, strangely enough, what was one show that I was watching a lot on TV, even though like I had nothing to do with any of my interests at all, but it was always on? The freaking Fresh Prince of Bel-Air was always freaking on. That show was never like not on TV. It was like always on all the time. So I ended up like watching a good amount of that show, despite the fact, again, like I had like none of my interests would ever like say that, hey, Bard, like Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, that's totally up your alley. Nope. Like, but you know, like it was just always on TV, and you know, like right after cartoons and stuff like that for me too, and it was just kind of like, oh, okay, I'll just watch this because it's on. I think you guys won't remember any of this stuff, but like the Disney Afternoon was like a thing for me growing up. So, um, I think for those people who actually watched the Disney Afternoon quite a bit, um, you will understand now why I will end I end up watching the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, because that shit would come on right after that block. Does Bob's Burgers count as a cartoon sitcom? I think it does, right? I never watched Bob's Burgers myself. That was one again, like outside of the time when I was actively watching cartoons on stuff, and I didn't have access to Cartoon Network or any of the other cartoon related TV things when they moved stuff outside of cartoon blocks, afternoon and Saturday cartoon blocks, when they started to move out of that sort of thing. So I never really saw Bob's Burgers or anything like that, right? But yeah, I mean, it kind of counts, right? I would say it counts. But yeah, like, you know, like for me growing up, it was like watch Disney Afternoon, like Darkwing Duck or a Goof Troop or other Tailspin or other, you know, Disney things, right? And then like freaking, you know, okay, that stuff is over. It's time to watch The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air for some reason. That's what it was. I don't know why they made they planned it like that, but okay, yeah, sure. Let's see. How is this? Oh, okay. So we're quickly approaching that time again. I'm sorry, like, you know, I do have to apologize for one thing. Like, I haven't been the best at keeping my streaming schedule. I've been traveling a lot in the last 2 months and stuff like that, and on top of that, you know, like, I really should be extending my schedule quite a bit so that I could get more arting done in a time that makes sense, right? Like, you know, I barely get anything done here when I'm sketching and stuff like that, and you know, like I'd like to do more arting and stuff like that, but it's just like there's some things that like block it and block me from doing that, and you know, mostly it's my day job, but also, you know, it's because of things like, you know, what can I actually do on Twitch and stuff like that when it comes to arting and stuff like that. So I think I've talked a lot about this previously too, where I'm highly considering starting an account so that I can stream on a different platform, as it were, and stuff like that. One that is a little bit more open to certain things that I would like to be drawing and stuff like that, right? And you know, I was originally thinking about testing that out this week actually, but the fact that this suddenly happened with Anime North, and you know, like I've got to kind of focus on that. So yeah, I'm pulling it back a little bit. I'm not gonna do that this week. Um, but perhaps you know, perhaps next week, or not next week, the week that I come back from Anime North and stuff like that. Maybe I'll start that up. Which platform is it gonna be? I have one in mind already, but I think I will leave that for I will leave that to a ping on my on my Discord. So if you're in the Discord, you'll probably see a ping from me at some point, where I announce it and stuff like that, and where it's gonna be. I'll probably put links to it. Now, having said that, it's likely that if we do this, right, this stream is gonna be 18 plus. I think that goes without saying. So, you know, like, if you are not old enough to be in there, because we're gonna be, like, you know, when you draw, it's like, it's one of those things, right, where it's like you have to draw, like, certain things, right, like, because of anatomy and whatnot, right? Like, if you're not old enough to be in there, do not come. If I find out, for whatever reason, even as a joke, that you're not old enough, like, if you guys say, oh, I'm this many years old, even as a joke, I will take you at your face value, because I'm not gonna verify your age. I have no way of doing that, and I don't care to do that. So if you guys say it, I'm gonna take you at your word, and I'm just gonna ban you. So that, you know, like, that's how I'm gonna approach it. So, you know, if y'all not supposed to be in there, don't be in there, is what I will say when I start doing this. So, you know, like, just to get the rules, you know, out first, so that there's no misunderstanding about, you know, like, how this is gonna go. Okay, guys? And I gotta make that apparent in the first place, because, you know, like, again, arting, it can be an amazing thing to do, but arting also involves a lot of art, like, you know, drawing of things that, you know, do not necessarily are not necessarily Twitch safe. So that's why, you know, I have to take this route towards doing that. Like, I can't make any exceptions on that. So, you know, it is what it is. Okay. Now, what else is... I'm focusing a little bit too much on the details, by the way, as I do this. I really shouldn't be, but, you know, like, again, it's a very bad habit of mine, where I do have to break out of that, but you know, it's just, this is just how Bard works. This is my workflow. Okay. Oh, interesting. Okay, so I misjudged how this is placed. Actually, you won't see her belly button at all, because she wears like, her dress actually comes up pretty high up. It comes up, like, quite a bit, like, almost to right here. Her skirt, I should say. It's not a dress. Jeez. What else is going on in my world right now? I've been following the NBA playoffs, as you guys know. I've been pretty excited. The Cappytown Mango Sentinels are just awaiting their opponent at this point. they made it into the second round for the second year in a row. I'm very happy. I hope that they can make it further, because you know, sometimes you just want more. You don't want to just go, you know, it was a good season and that was as far as they're gonna go. No, sometimes you just want them to go further. So I'm hoping for some good news, but we won't know until like when is it, like at least Sunday, at worst case scenario. Well, I shouldn't say worst case scenario, because no matter what, it is good news, right? But like Sunday might be it for the series between the Pistons and the Cavs. So we'll see what happens on Sunday. But you know, I don't know what's better. I don't know what's better right now. Them, like, they finish it the next game on Saturday, or it just drags into Sunday. So I don't know right now. I don't know how I feel right now. Like, either way is good for me. I feel bad for fans of either team that are like currently embroiled in such a huge like and exhausting battle, but you know, it's like better for my team, so you know, we shall see what happens. We shall see what happens. But yeah, I'm as you guys can tell, I am a very big fan of the sports ball. Specifically the one with the orange ball that you throw. I'm a huge fan of that. I've always been. It didn't help that, you know, I grew up in an era where there was so much of it. Like, you know, Jordan was still playing. What else was going on? They had, like, you know, a lot of people like talking about certain manga. Like, what was it? Was it Haikyuu or something like that? Like, that's the sports ball manga of the present. But man, like, I was really into Takehiko Inoue's artwork at the time, and he was doing Slam Dunk at the time, and it was just like, damn, that shit looks amazing. Like that was like one of the art gods of back then that was like, oh man, I wish I could even be like 10% as good as this guy. So, you know, like, yeah, I got really into the sports ball because of that, all that, you know, like, there was a lot of stuff that was out in those days that was like, damn, this shit is like amazing. And you know, and again, it helped that, you know, I know there's an argument to be made that LeBron is the GOAT. I know there's an argument, but for me it's always gonna be MJ. Like, there's a lot of things that, you know, beyond the game that he did for the game that I think cannot be reproduced, unfortunately, because of the era that we lived in. It's like, it's already been done. So, like, you know, not saying that LeBron is not a great talent of his own. I will fully admit, I'm not a huge fan of LeBron James, and that's not a knock on his skill. His skill is amazing. It's just like, you know, there were certain things that happened in his career that I'm just like not really a huge fan of. It all started in 2008, 2009. If you guys were there, you know. If you know, you know. Maybe I should have just started doing the line art like this instead, you know? Maybe I should have just started doing the art. Sure, I know you are LeBron hate 3747. Steve, what's up? Wanted to drop by and say hey, having to run back out and wish I could stay, but have some stuff here to do at the house. No problem, Steve. Thanks for dropping by. Thanks for the Prime sub too, by the way. Damn, super appreciate it. But yeah, I guess I am the main hater. I guess that's me. That's me. I troll all the boards and the Reddit forums and all that other stuff, and I'm just like the guy talking smack all the time. You found me. You found me out. I'm sorry. No, but it's like the John Cena thing, right? Like for those of you who don't follow sports ball or wrestling, but it's like the John Cena thing. I think there's something to be said about a person's longevity in their career, right? Like John Cena may not have been the best wrestler from a technical standpoint, but he was there forever, and not many people can say that, right? Like there's a lot of wrestlers out there that cannot say that their career was anywhere near as long or like as a guy like John Cena. So it's like there is something to be said about longevity in sports and whatever you're doing, right? Like I'm never gonna say that doesn't count, right? See, now I'm worried. I'm doing like so the way that I'm doing the line art right now. This isn't even the line art. This is the the sketch, right? But I'm doing some of these lines like because I'm feeling like I've loosened up quite a bit. So I'm doing some of these lines. I almost feel like when I do the line art for them, I'm gonna be missing something. Like they're gonna be missing something at some point and stuff like that. I feel like it's gonna happen because I always lose something when I do the line art. And right now, I feel like the lines that I'm doing for the sketch, right, are kind of amazing. But I'm probably gonna lose something once I get there. Oh yeah, did you guys see Mint is out now on Nikkei, by the way? Like, since I'm drawing Nikkei, actually, I pulled for her. I know. Like, you should always save your resources for characters you actually want. But I'm just kind of like, I'm at the point where when I pull for stuff, I go for the characters on the regular banners now to build up gold tickets so that I can guarantee that I get the one copy of the special characters when they come out. Because I don't think as a player I am the type of player that will min-max and go for multiple copies of certain characters to limit break them anymore, because I don't spend money on the game like that, right? Like, so I feel like I'm just gonna I'm okay doing it like this, where I just go for the characters that on regular banners and build up my my gold tickets. I know everybody else will have their own way of approaching the gacha, but that's kind of how I do it. And admittedly, I do kind of like Mint's look in the game, so I don't know. Maybe if I have some time, I will draw. I should probably, since I've already drawn Honest and who else did I draw? Like, well, okay, since I'm gonna draw Honest, I should say, like, I'm gonna finish drawing Honest pretty soon. Maybe I should draw a Mint. Like, maybe it's like to get the entire Titty Star like group, right? You can never have too many titty stars. Wise words from a wise gentleman that I passed alongside the river one day. You can never have too many titty stars. Okay, the sketch for this one is not coming out too bad so far. I think I'm getting this somewhere with it. So, but it's just now I gotta figure out like for sure where I want the arms and stuff like that, right? Like, do I want her adjusting her glasses with that arm? But if I have the other arm adjusting her glasses, then she can't actually be holding her weapon and stuff like that, which is like, what do I do here? If I have the left arm adjusting her glasses, then it kind of covers up some of the stuff on that side, which is okay. It's not like the worst thing to happen in the world, right? Like, you know, but I don't know. I'm being very indecisive right now about it. I don't know what to do. Let's at least start to get this in. So her jacket kind of bends out this way, and then the other side will not really be. Okay, so I got about 10 minutes left tonight. You know, again, I do apologize for the fact that I don't have a streaming schedule that I can stay on very long and, you know, do the arting thing to completion with you guys, you know. Like, I really would like to have it so that I can do those things, but that's just, like, unfortunately, like, you know, I only have so much time during the night where I can do this stuff before I have to focus on other things like dinners and all that other stuff. Even though, like, you know, it's mostly not me cooking dinner, but I do have to help out and stuff like that and do all sorts of other chores that I could not get to, you know, but yeah, being an adult sucks sometimes. You really gotta do all the stuff. That's why when you're a kid, you know, like, that's like some of the best times. I know I've been told this before by certain family members too. They're like, why would you ever want to relive your life as a kid? It's like, you know, and stuff like that. And it's like, I think a lot of people underestimate the fact that, yeah, there are some, like, a lot of freedoms and stuff that you gain as an adult and stuff like that, but you kind of like lose out on one thing that's very important, and that's like a lot of time and stuff. Like, when you're younger and stuff like that, you don't have to deal with all this stuff, right? Like, home ownership, family, friend, like, not friends, like, you have friends when you're a kid, but, you know, like, when you don't have to deal with all that stuff, right? Like, you have more time to improve on the things that you want to do, that you're actually interested on. So it's like, you know, if there's one thing that I would tell every person that's still growing up and that's going through their formative years and stuff like that, I would say make the most out of the time that you have, like, like, you know, like, especially when you're like in high school or even before that and stuff like that, because you just don't have that option anymore, like, once you get out of there and stuff like that. It's like, man, if that's the one thing that I would have told young Cappy Bard, you know, like, if of all things, if I could talk to myself and tell myself one thing that would have been Don't Waste Your Time. Don't waste your time in high school specifically. Though I guess I had a lot of fun. I played a lot of Street Fighter and stuff. So I'm not gonna say that that was a waste. Those are my peak Rageaholic arcade game days. Going from the kingdom of the washing machines to the freaking pizza place. Back then, nothing like everything counted as an arcade. There was nothing that didn't count as an arcade, and everybody had a freaking arcade machine somewhere. If it wasn't Street Fighter, it was Mortal Kombat. Like they kind of figured out that those were the things that sold the most quarters and stuff like that. Not sell quarters. Jeez, you don't sell quarters, but they ate the most quarters because people were just like kind of crazy in those days. And those were just like the arcade machines that like everyone had, so everything was an arcade and you just played everywhere and stuff like that. It was just kind of crazy. And then there was like all sorts of shady shit in those arcades too, man. Like one very infamous thing that one arcade was known for in a specific Chinatown was the fact that they had like a tic-tac-toe machine that had a live chicken inside of it. It was true. You put in money to play tic-tac-toe against a live chicken. How legal was that? Probably not very legal. But they freaking did it. They just still did it. They didn't care. That was the arcade scene for you. I mean, we could probably done less with, with less arcade machines that had livestock in them, right? We could have probably, we probably could have done without it, but that was just kind of what happened. Okay. Let's at least start building out her hair a little bit. And yeah, I'm like, even though her hair is technically covered by the hat that she wears, I still want to build out like the whole form so that I know where to set the hat, right? Like, even though I have a sketch of it up there, it still has to be like, kind of finessed into place and stuff like that. So it's always good to draw the everything underneath and then just like, it's sort of like when you draw the body, right? Like, you want to draw like the structure underneath it, like the bones and stuff like that. Well, you don't have to do it in detail, but you want to get that structure down so that you have an idea of where to place everything, right? And that's kind of the same reason why I am drawing, her hair in, even though I don't really need to, right? Okay, let's see. And it might be very strange when I do it, but I hop around a lot too with the way that I draw like hair and stuff like that. Like, I don't stick. I like, as you can see, like I suddenly went to the other side and started drawing the hair over here like this, and it's just like a habit of mine where I just kind of go from the thing that I'm like currently interested in to the next thing. So it might be like some form of art, like, I don't know, Like, it's just like I don't focus very well on one space. Okay. You know, after Neon and Anis, I think I'm gonna move definitely into trying to draw Rappy, because I gotta get all the three, right? Like the main three, and then after I do the main three of counters, right? I want to do more Nikkei characters, because like I've never drawn Modernia. I have drawn Dorothy once, but I feel like I can do another better Dorothy too. And then also like there's like Crown, you know, I never drew Crown either. And Little Mermaid, Cinderella. Like there's so many characters that I want to draw from this damn game, and I just never did like most of them. And now I'm like I'm feeling it. I'm like I want to do it, but I don't have the time to do all of them, because after this I got to focus on continuing my what is it? My VTuber training arc, because I was on a VTuber training arc that like I gave up on a little bit. Like I didn't give up on it, I just stopped a little bit so that I could do other things, and then I had to travel to CarrierCon. So I want to get back on my VTuber training arc, because there are various VTubers that I want to draw now. Like I'm actually motivated to want to draw Watame, because I never drew Watame before, right? So you know, it feels like I never do enough of them. So many characters every stupid month, right? And oh, Girls Frontline 2 as well. Those my head out. Yeah. And then you know what else? What other characters? Like I know I've drawn some Marvel characters, and I tried to draw Invisible Woman previously, but I don't get to draw too many Marvel characters and stuff like that, right? Like I did draw Spider-Gwen, but I didn't finish that one yet, right? And it's like I feel like I want to draw like Luna Snow and some of the other Marvel Rivals appeared. The characters that actually appeared in Marvel Rivals, I should say. You know, because obviously these characters all exist outside of Rivals, right? But I do like, in particular, the remakes for a lot of the characters in Rivals. So it's like, you know, damn, man. It's like there's so much stuff that I want to do, but I do not have the time. I do not have the time and stuff like that. But we'll see, you know, like at some point, I'm going to have to just suck it up and do it, right? Like, you know, like even with this one with Neon, like, you know, I've been avoiding drawing Neon again only because I've drawn her before, but like her new costume is like, oh, you know, like I really like this costume. So it's like, you know, I really had the motivation to try it at this point, and I'm like, you know, and you know, like I'm kind of glad that I'm doing this now, because it's actually, at first I was having so much trouble with the pose, but now that I've gotten to this point, I'm starting to see it. Like I'm starting to see where it could go and stuff like that. So I'm kind of happy with it. And I'm also happy with the proportions that I gave her, because even though I feel like her body is a little small, Neon is not, again, she's not one of the characters like Anis or Rappy, where they're like very, they're very curvaceous and, you know, everything is big. with them, like the thighs and all that stuff. Like with Neon, everything is like a little bit more down to earth. Let's just say. So, you know, like I'm okay with where this one's going. And I might have to change it a little bit. It depends on how big the hat is, but I might have to change where it, like the framing of this one. I might have to make this one a little bit larger, because, you know, like with a lot of images I'm finding, when you have them zoomed far out, if you do the full body image, it's cool. But a lot of the images that look best with the way that they're framed is like when they're cropped a little bit closer to the character, right? Because, like, you know, like the closer you are to the character, the, you know, the more quote unquote intimate the image is. So it's like, I feel like almost that this one should be cropped a little bit closer. I don't know. We'll see. Let me hit save and let me go and look around a little bit, because it is that time. Unfortunately, I have to say good evening and good night for now. I unfortunately won't be back to streaming Tuesday, because again, I gotta prepare to go up north to Toronto. So you know, I'll be traveling next week, so I won't be able to stream. That's the unfortunate part. But the following week I'll be back on Tuesday and I'll resume my regular schedule, and we'll see where we are with all this stuff. Maybe I'll have some of this stuff done, I don't know. Or maybe I'll be drawing a different image on the way, because I have my travel equipment in terms of arting, right? So like I have my iPad and stuff like that I can draw from. So, you know, like there is that. But if I'm gonna do that, I might start a different image, because I don't like to try to finish something that I'm currently doing on my PC on the iPad, because this PC has so many more resources on it that if I transfer it to the iPad will probably be screaming for bloody murder for me trying to do that. So, you know, there is that. So I think yeah, I might start another image actually on the way and stuff like that. But for the time being, let's see. Oh, Melty Rice is on, huh? These are like, there's some artists that I haven't paid like paid a visit to in a long time and stuff like that. And, you know, like I would like to visit, but, you know, I also, when it comes to raiding, I usually raid 2 people who have smaller viewerships, because I like to add to their viewerships and stuff like that, you know. Like, I don't want to just go and visit somebody with a heck of a large viewership, because they don't really need the help, right? So let's see. I got someone here. We are going to go and pay a visit to a friend who is actually playing Marathon, actually. Holy crap. I did not realize that is this like a new version? I guess so. Anyway, I will see you guys in about 2 weeks from now. I will still be updating the Discord channel with stuff, you know, like I won't leave the Discord unupdated. So yeah, you're gonna be hearing from me on the Discord, and yeah, when I get back, we're gonna just continue doing this Neon image. Maybe it'll be more complete by then. Anyway, thanks again for dropping by, and I hope you guys have a great night, and yeah, I'll see you next time. All right, laters everyone.